Welcome to another monthly portfolio update. If you are stopping by for the first time, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. In this video, I will share with you how much I invested in my taxable account in August, how many shares I bought, and the value of my portfolio at the end of August. But as always, before I continue, a quick disclaimer. The information that I'm sharing is not financial advice. Before you invest in anything, please do your own research and make sure that you only invest in things that you understand. With that being said, I will dive right into my portfolio update. I will start with a quick recap of my July portfolio to show you the value of the portfolio and how many shares I had before the beginning of August. The total value of my portfolio at the end of July was $102,409.67. $102,205.90 was the market value of my investments, and the $203.77 was a cash amount. At the end of July, the total unrealized profit of my portfolio was $29,737.92. This was plus 41%. These are my holdings: 2 Vanguard ETFs and the 2 BlackRock ETFs. VCN is a Vanguard ETF that tracks the Canadian market. I had 110 shares of VCN at the end of July. VFV is a Vanguard ETF that tracks the S&P 500 index. This is the Canadian version of VOO. I had 340 shares of VFV at the end of July. XEQT is a BlackRock ETF. This is an all-in-one equity ETF which holds Canadian equities, US equities, developed market equities outside of North America, and emerging market equities. If you want to hold a single equity ETF which is globally diversified, you might consider looking into XEQT. I had 600 shares of XEQT at the end of July. XOU is a BlackRock ETF that tracks the US total stock market, and I had 330 shares of XOU at the end of July. I will now show you how much I invested in August and how many shares I bought. I bought 5 shares of VFV. The cost per share was $158.26. The total cost, $791.28. This was 56% of the amount that I invested in August. I bought 10 shares of XEQT. The cost per share was $36.93. The total cost, $369.25. This was 26% of the amount that I invested in August. I bought 4 shares of XOU. The cost per share was $63.73. The total cost, $254.93. And this was 18% of the amount that I invested in August. In total, I bought 19 shares, all the ETFs combined. And the amount that I invested in August was $1,415.46. This is $966.79 less than the amount that I invested in July. As you can see, in July, I invested $2,382.25. And in August, $1,415.46. And the difference is minus $966.79. The total value of my portfolio at the end of August was $105,412.18. $105,350.86 was the market value of my investments, and $61.32 was a cash amount. At the end of August, the total unrealized profit of my portfolio was $31,467.43. This was plus 42.60%. As of August the 31st, I had 110 shares of a VCN, 345 shares of a VFV, 610 shares of XEQT, and 334 shares of XOU. Alright, let's now take a look at some quick details about each of the positions. I will start with VCN. The closing market price on August the 31st was $58.49. The quantity of shares that I had, 110. The average price, $41.70. The book value, which is how much I have invested in VCN, was $4,587.80. The market value was $6,433.90. This was 6.10% of my portfolio. The total unrealized profit for VCN was $1,846.10. This was 40.24%. Next, we have VFV. The closing market price on August the 31st was $157.46. The quantity of shares that I had, 345. The average price, $107.53. The book value was $37,099.01. The market value was $54,323.70. This was 51.53% of my portfolio. The total unrealized profit for VFV was $17,224.69. This was 46.43%. Then we have XEQT. The closing market price on August the 31st was $37.30. The quantity of shares that I had, 610. The average price, $27.59. The book value was $16,833.74. The market value was $22,753. This was 21.58% of my portfolio. The total unrealized profit for XEQT was $5,919.26. This was 35.16%. Finally, we have XUU. The closing market price on August the 31st was $65.39. The quantity of shares that I had, 334. The average price, $46. The book value was $15,362.88. The market value was $21,840.26. This was 20.72% of my portfolio. The total unrealized profit for XOU was $6,477.38. This was 42.16%. Like the past 3 months, the stock market ended the month of August in the green. My portfolio went from being up 41% at the beginning of the month to 42.60% at the end of the month. This is an increase of 1.60%. And the amount that I invested in August was $1,415.46. As for the S&P 500 index, it gained 1.90% in August. This is more than twice its average monthly performance for August. Dating back to 1928, the S&P 500 has registered an average return of 0.70% in the month of August. If you recall, in early April after Donald Trump's famous Liberation Day announcement, stock prices went free fall, and a lot of people thought the tariff war would cause a bear market or a prolonged crash. But here we are 4 months later with stock prices at an all-time high, and now some analysts are even saying that we are in a bubble. It's crazy how narratives can quickly shift from a crash to a bubble. This just shows that no one really can predict how the stock market will behave or perform, at least in the short term. If you are a long-term investor, the most important thing is to stay the course and ignore market short-term gyrations and events you have no control over. Just keep dollar-cost averaging on ETFs or index funds such as the S&P 500 index, the total US stock market, or the total world stock market. You will be fine. Don't forget that long-term performance rests on time in the market, not market timing. Alright, feel free to leave a comment below. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time with another update. Peace out.